Is Bitcoin's low currently in, and are we heading for all-time highs again? Let's get into the charts. Welcome back to Max Trades Crypto. Today we're going to be talking about a few different scenarios on the daily time frame and then 3 scenarios on the 4-hourly time frame. So going to be quite a good video today, and we are starting off with the daily time frame. So on the daily time frame, I have 3 scenarios currently. The first scenario is the scenario where we are looking for a finished 5-wave structure to the upside, followed by a 3-wave structure to the downside. Now, this would mean that we are currently beginning a bear market, right? A bear market would mean we are heading a lot lower than where we currently are, hitting that around 41,477 mark to 23,678 if it is a deep correction. So our standard Elliott Wave Theory works is we are looking for a 5-wave structure up, followed by a 3-wave structure to the downside. This is this chart over here. After that, we would look for much higher prices, looking at that $300,000-$400,000 range. But until then, we are waiting to see if the bear market has started. Then, that is our first scenario on the chart. The second scenario is the most bullish scenario. The most bullish scenario means we are in a multi 1-2. It doesn't get more bullish than this. This means that we have created a 1-2 massive 3, 4, 5. Inside this, we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. And inside this third wave, we have another 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. This would mean that we are in a 1, 2, massive 3, 4, 5. Inside that, we are looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in blue. Inside that, we are looking for a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 in orange. So this would mean after this little correction is complete here, we would look for a massive move towards the upside in that wave 3. I don't think this is the most likely scenario, but it is definitely a scenario to consider if we see the government coming in with massive amounts of money. This is that scenario there. Then for our final and most probable scenario, in my opinion, is this extended wave 5. So in cryptocurrency, oftentimes we see a 1, 2, 3, 4, and then a wave 5 that does indeed extend. So if we look at price action at the moment, we are looking at a 1, 2, 3, 4, and a wave 5 that indeed extends, with a 1 that we have completed now, a 2 coming down possibly into this target range of 73,500 to 58,387. So in that range, we would have a 1, a 2, 3, 4, and a wave 5, finishing at around that $220,000 mark for this year's bull run. But after that, we can then look for a 3-wave structure down again. So between the first and the third scenario, it really is a thing of, is this wave 5 in yellow complete? Are we having a extended wave 5, or are we looking for the 3-wave structure down now? So that is the daily scenarios. Then coming over to the 4-hourly time frame. On the 4-hourly time frame, we have seen quite a choppy structure, especially in the last few days. The last few days have been very up and down, but let's look at our first scenario. Our first scenario, yes, it looks quite complex, but let's break it down. We are currently looking for that wave 2 correction. So if we pull up our main scenario here, we are looking for price to come into this area here of the wave 2, finishing this wave 2 somewhere in that blue box. So we have an A wave to the downside, B wave up, and a C wave to the downside. This would complete a wave W. So we are looking at, in this scenario, a WXY. The WXY means that we have three wave structures in each move in a WXY. This would be a WXY with an ABC here, an ABC in X, and an ABC in wave Y. So here we are looking at an ABC in wave W, ABC, followed by a WXY in wave X, which is fine. A three-wave structure in wave X is indeed fine. And then followed by a three-wave structure in wave Y still to come. So if we look where we are currently at the Y wave of this WXY inside this wave X, a very complex structure. So if we are looking for the ABC in wave Y, we are looking for an ABC. This ABC is indeed a flat meaning that we have an A wave that comes up, a B wave that takes the low of wave A, and a C wave that extends higher than the high of wave A. Inside the C wave, we are looking for a 5-wave move. Here is a 5-wave structure up in a 1, 2, 1, 2, and now we are looking for that wave 3, 4, 5, 4, 5 to finish off that wave C. The wave C targets around $95,295, and the third wave in this 1-2 targets around $92,733. At the moment, this is indeed my main scenario, as the other scenarios have been either invalidated or are very, very choppy. Then, looking at our second scenario on the chart, we have another form of a WXY, except instead of W ending over here, W ends over here. A WX and a Y down. With inside that Y, we are, remember, looking for an ABC. In this B wave, we have another WXY. Again, very, very complex structures on the charts, but we are still trying to break it down as much as possible. So inside this wave B, we have another WXY. This could indeed be a flat as well in an A, a B, and a wave C with that 1, 2, 1, 2 like we discussed further. After that wave B, we should see a 5-wave correction to the downside in the wave C of the Y to complete the larger degree wave 2. Then, for our last scenario on the chart, this would mean we are looking at a standard diagonal towards the downside. Now, a 5-wave structure can either be an impulse as explained before, or can be a diagonal where we have a 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, where wave 1 and wave 4 overlap and trend lines do indeed converge. So, if we're looking at this scenario here, we have a 5-wave structure in wave A, followed by a 3-wave structure in wave B, and now we are having that ending diagonal in wave C. So, in this move, we have a 5-wave structure within the trend lines, and then we would be coming down for that last one more low, finishing this wave 2 on the daily time frame. So inside this move here, we can see that we have a 3-wave structure in each move, a 3-wave structure here, a 3-wave structure in 2, a 3-wave structure in 3, and now looking for an A, B, C in wave 4. So that would mean wave 4 would be finishing at around $86,000 as per the trend line. Followed by that, we would see an A, B, C to the downside around that $74,000 mark is where it would end. So these are the things we are looking at currently. Currently, these are actually only the two only trend lines that I'm looking at the moment. We have possibly this trend line over here finishing this move. That would mean we are targeting quite a bit higher, but after that we can see this trend line here as labeled. So those are the two trend lines that I am currently tracking. Then for RSI on the daily time frame, we can see RSI on the daily time frame is indeed becoming overbought again, which means oftentimes when the daily RSI becomes overbought, a correction is indeed due. We can see here that the RSI on the 6th of Jan became overbought and a correction of, what was that, 12 or 13% happened. Same as over here, we had the RSI overbought here and a correction did indeed occur of 16 or 17%. So at the moment we are looking at the RSI possibly coming up, possibly touching one of these trend lines that I did indeed mention, and then followed by that three-wave structure down should indeed put the RSI back oversold and the low of wave 2 in. This is the main scenario on the chart at the moment, is the 1-2, but our main scenario on the 4-hourly time frame is this one here. So do be wary when trading those two different scenarios. Now for trades starting on the 4-hourly time frame. On the 4-hourly time frame, I would not touch this range for quite a while. I would let price indeed finish off this move here and then come down, possibly starting to long positions from the $75,000 region. From $75,000, adding long slowly as we go down is a very, very good strategy to have, as we can possibly top out at even, or bottom out at even $64,000 to $66,000, and that would mean that we touch the 0.618 as well. So do indeed be careful there, as we could see moves down all the way to those levels, but longing like this in that little triangle, as I can show you here, if we long in a triangle move like this, adding larger longs towards the bottom and shorter longs towards the top, starting at $75,000, we can get a very, very good position in from this area here. So do indeed do that if you are willing to trade this range. It's not financial advice, but a very, very good area to long. But guys, thank you so much for watching the video. I really do appreciate it. We're doing quite well on the YouTube channel. Do support the Discord as well if you want daily updates there. But it's been Max Trades Crypto. Cheers, guys.